Welcome to the 10-minute wine time live with the Piwi grapes today. So I'm back to talk about hybrid grapes. I'm going to taste two of them here live. Don't know if you can see them. I'm Katarina, Grapevine Adventures. I talk and I write about wine on my website, Grapevine Adventures, and in some other magazines occasionally too. So I got these bottles from Terre di Ger in Friuli-Venezia, Giulia, just after I had written my my last article about hybrid grapes. So it was pretty cool. I had tasted some wines from Terre di Ger before, but it wasn't the hybrid grapes ones. So I got down to study a bit about the grapes. So I have the Arconi Bianco here, which is let's see. So I pronounce it right, Sauvignon Cretos. And Sauvignon Cretos is a grape, hybrid grape, a Piwi, that was created in 2003, I think, at the University of Udine. It was actually registered in the National Italian Registry in 2015. It is particularly resistant to the downy mildew. It also says that it's good for pleasantly aromatic young wines, and it also has a fairly good resistance to powdery mildew. So when I read also on the website of Terre di Ger, it talks about that the name of the wine comes from the stream called Arcone, which is close to the border between Friuli-Venezia and Giulia and Veneto, the two regions. And it's also a wine that represents the local identity and the local kind of terroir. So I'm going to show you how it's spelled. Let's see if anybody has any comments. Feel free to comment here below. So the two wines that I'm going to taste are Arconi Bianco and Del Masut from Terre di Ger. So I think it has very fresh and I mean, if you would say like this is like a hybrid grape or this is like a kind of Vitis vinifera grape, I don't think you would be able to distinguish. And I kind of agree with Attilio Scienza there that if you not really know it, it wouldn't be that easy, I think. So it has a bit nice aromas of fruit, a bit citrusy aromas. I think a bit of a kind of maquis, like the herbal local field herbs. And it also has a good acidity. And it's very kind of, it has a very good grip on the palate. Also there it has a bit of an almond aftertaste that I read is very typical for this grape variety. And it also has a bit of a citrusy, herbal, almost a bit spicy. I don't know if it comes from the grape variety grip on the palate. So I think it's a very pleasant and a very nice wine. It's a bit like for an aperitivo or on a summer day, or also to pair with kind of light dishes, probably more fish than meat. So, but as said, I mean, if I would be a consumer and I didn't, I didn't know it was a wine made with a hybrid grape, and I might not be able to place that it's actually Sauvignon, because I think it doesn't have the strong herbal Sauvignonesque traits. I think it has the more fruit and the more fresh and saltiness to it. more minerality. So, but I think I would know. I mean, I might not place it as Sauvignon, but I don't think it would be that easy to place it as a hybrid grape. So I think it's a very it's a very interesting wine, and you should definitely try it. It says that it matures for 6 months. I don't know if it's in still. I guess it's in still vats because it didn't say so on the website, and I forgot to ask. But I would think that it's matured only in steel. If we then go to the El Masut, which is a blend of 3 hybrid grapes, and it's Cabernet, let's say, Cabernet Eidos, Merlot Taurus, and Merlot Cantus. They're all grapes that were created in 2002, and they also were registered in the National Register in 2015. The breeders were all at the University of Udine in Friuli-Venezia Giulia. It says that the Cabernet Eidos has typically a good soft tannins and quite intense floral and fruity and a bit spicy aromas typically. It's a mix of genes from Vitis amurensis, Vitis bellandieri, Vitis rupestris, and Vitis vinifera. So it's a crossing about with the different Vitis to then be resistant to powdery and downy mildew. And if we look at the Merlot Taurus, it's also is a mix of different Vitis grapes to make it more resistant. It's a cross between Merlot and Cosma 23. It also has typical aromas of red fruit, quite intense, and it's also, I think, suitable for aging. And I think also Merlot Cantus is the same crossing, and it also has different Vitis in it from, I guess, from the 2 continents, the United States and Europe. And it's Merlot Cantus is also resistant, well resistant to frost and to the powdery and downy mildew. So I mean, it's grapes that as I discussed in the article before, resistant or tolerant, but to these diseases that are like this year, most producers were hit by the downy mildew, and of course, if you have a hybrid grape, it's easier to not have to do as many treatments if you're in a conventional regime. And if you're organic, which would be kind of preferable, then I think you also are quite well off with less treatments. And I don't know if this wine has been aged in oak, actually, because it doesn't say so. It has a bit of profound, almost vanilla-like aromas, but I don't know if it's from oak or if it's in steel or cement. It also, El Masut is also kind of a local dialect name. So it says on the website that it means little farmhouse, and it should allude to the fact when the owner was little and spent a lot of time at the family farm close to Treviso. So the names are always kind of connected to the local territory. And I think it's a wine with quite intense aromas, a lot of fruit, red fruit, also a bit spicy, probably a bit of floral notes too, a bit of violet, and it's quite intense and full nose. So I mean, also the spices could be pepper, tobacco leaves. And on the palate, it's also very rich, and the tannins are very soft. I think it has done some oak, if I'm not mistaken, but I have to ask about that. So also here, I mean, it could be, I think, a Merlot from from some part of the world. If you didn't know, it was a hybrid grape, and I don't think a Cabernet, because it doesn't have that distinct green notes. But for sure, it could be a Merlot. I think it's both wines are very nice. I mean, here I'll show the. I don't know if the bottles will not show because I have a background. But anyway, I will make a photo and then put them below in a comment afterwards. And so basically, I mean, I think hybrid grape wines, PV wines, are definitely something to try out, and I don't think it's something to be suspicious about or be hesitant about. Of course, there's always going to be the discussion regarding monovarietal wines or blended wines with a bit of hybrid grapes. I think it's the future. I mean, also today I talked with a producer that I will have for my future podcast I hope to be launching in the next few months. And we were talking about Valle d'Itria in Puglia. And actually there it's very common that the grapes, a lot of grape varieties grew together in vineyards. And it was actually a field blend in most wines, even if they would perhaps mention mainly the main grape that they were using, such as Verdeca. So I don't think it's anything strange to have wines that are not monovarietal wines. And I mean, here, of course, the white wine is monovarietal of the Sauvignon crossing, but I mean, the red wine is a blend, and you could, I think, very well have a Vitis vinifera grape blended in there, and it would be a very, very nice wine. So if you enjoyed my short tasting, feel free to sign up for my newsletter. I will put the link in the comments, and you can also download and watch a video about Puglia if you sign up as a freebie.